Hey guys, welcome back to John's Watch. Today I'm taking a look at a new visual novel game called Celestial Crossing. This game was released on Steam on December 30th, 2016. The trigger price is $13.99 Canadian, so I guess that's $12 or $13 US, or your regional equivalent. And it's developed and published by Towaku Studio. So in this game you play as a character called Hikaru, who is a high school student who sleeps all day and plays his favorite game all night. And then one day, the two worlds collide and his in-game avatar is standing in front of him in his bedroom. So it sounds pretty interesting. The art style looks very good. We're just gonna hop into it, show off the first bit of the game. Clang! Crash! A demon voice groans in pain and a woman calls out.
Damn it, Hikaru, what are you doing? Counting the cracks in the fucking ceiling?
It's voice acted as well. This looks like really high quality actually. I blink, surprised. I take in the scene in front of me. I should also mention this game has separate audio sliders for voice volume and background noise, which is fantastic for recording a video. Nerith, the elven warlock at my side, is facing off against two snarling minotaurs. Her short sword looks pathetically puny where it clashes against their heavy broadaxes, and a bolt of fear shoots through me. Without questioning how I found myself in this situation, I feel my body moving automatically. Oh, great. Use a weapon. My fingers fly to the hilt of the heavy mace that should have been hanging at my side, only to come up empty. The hell? I'm walking around completely unarmed. Not seeing much else, I grab a piece of rubble from the floor of the dungeon and chuck it with all my strength at the nearest minotaur. Thump! It glances off his back, but does catch his attention at least.
A rock? Really?
The minotaur... Am I saying minotaur or minotaur? How the fuck do you say it? The minotaur, I think it's minotaur. The minotaur seems to decide I'm too annoying to live and abandons its tussle with Nerith to shamble my way instead. Shit. Her hands wave through the complicated motions of a spell, and when she expels her breath, a cloud of icy vapor pours over the two monsters, freezing them into solid statues. Before I can do more than panic, Nerith leaps into action. Then with complete nonchalance, she kicks one over, shattering it into several large pieces. There are bits everywhere, and the dead Minotaur's arm skitters over to land next to my foot. Nausea rolls in my stomach. I try to focus on what Nerith is saying to distract myself.
Such a damn waste. All that pretty loot. All because you decided to do nothing but waste air on this mission.
She's even blinking as well. This is amazingly high quality. The art is really good. That looks beautiful. After toppling over the second statue and looking sadly at the shattered remains of her loot, she glares over at me. I can't help but quail a little bit. She's pretty damn terrifying when she's pissed. I'm not sure what happened. I look down and... Suddenly, she interrupts in a carefully disinterested tone.
You alright?
Seems crazy I didn't notice sooner. There's a slowly spreading bloodstain just above my stomach. I look down. Not feeling pain. That's a bad thing, right? The sight is almost as alarming as the realization that it doesn't hurt at all. What the? I don't even remember getting this.
Well, what did you expect, showing up dressed like that? Idiot.
It all suddenly becomes clear. I'm wearing my school uniform. I shouldn't be here. I can't be here. Nerith is me in the game. Ooh, it was all a dream. That's a good little intro, introduces the characters. What?
And how was your nap, Azumi-san?
Holy shit. It's really good voice acting as well, actually. I'm impressed this game's only $14. Canadian. The entire class is laughing so hard, I fantasize briefly about vanishing into the floor. I feel like I've heard this music before. I'm pretty sure I've heard this. I don't know if it's just royalty free, because I come across a lot of royalty free music. Sounds like it's from like Starlight Vega though. So presumably they're just both royalty free tracks. Huh. The worst part is embarrassing myself in front of Agano-sensei though. This isn't quite as bad as the time I fell asleep and had a dirty dream about her in the middle of class. And at least there's no drool.
Go stand in the hallway, Azumi. I will deal with you in a minute.
I will deal with you in a minute. So much better than my voices. Amazing. I feel my face flush in humiliation as I make the walk of shame through the classroom, trying my best to ignore the snickers and giggles. It's a small relief to shut the door behind me, but I hate that Agano-sensei is disappointed. Again. Especially since the nap really wasn't worth the embarrassment. What a lame dream. Fighting beside my game character and failing at it? Even in my imagination, I'm a freaking loser. Thinking back to battle, I can easily place the setting now that I'm not asleep. Look like the final level before the end of the Lich Lord quest. Maybe I'm subconsciously trying to remind myself I need to max out her level before the expansion gets released? And as it always is, thinking about Celestial Crossing is the metaphorical balm of my soul. That's the name of this game. Crossing Con is coming up too. I assume it's like... It might be kind of like WoW and BlizzCon. I need to at least grind through Lich Lord Keep and maybe the forest to...
Keep falling asleep in my class again.
My automatic reaction is to squeak out her name, but it comes out sounding like...
If you spent more time at home sleeping properly and less time playing games, maybe we wouldn't have to have this little chat once a week.
I'm gonna raise her volume a little bit. Yes, ma'am. Her gaze is stern at first, but as she sighs, the wind seems to go out of her.
Honestly, Azumi-san, it's not as though you're a bad student when you apply yourself. I know your father isn't home, but I need you to try harder.
My face heats up and I hang my head like an idiot. At 18 years of age, I'm way too old to be falling asleep in class all the time, barely passing all my subjects. I know this. If only it was as easy to level up in real life as it is in a game. It's hard not to drift back into a daydream as she scolds me, but I manage not to. The rest of the day passes by in a fog of sleepiness amid the judgmental stares of my classmates. The walk home is peaceful by comparison. I'm close to the apartment complex I live in when I see a familiar head turn the adjacent corner.
Oh, hey Hikaru-kun, heading home?
Why? Why do I blush every time she so much as looks at me? Yeah, just got out of school. Of course she knows that. The time of day and the uniform make it fairly obvious, idiot. Time to deflect. Deflect! You went grocery shopping? I motion lamely towards the plastic bags she's holding. They look a little heavy. By some miracle, she actually smiles.
Uh-huh, I got some ingredients to make dinner tonight.
Wow, she's a really good voice actor. I feel like I've heard her before, maybe? She laughs lightly before giving me a mock-angry look.
It figures that we'd bump into each other when I have food. It seems like the only time you ever see me is when I'm trying to feed you.
Sorry, Mika-chan. She throws her elbow playfully at my midsection. Takes all my willpower not to grunt like a little sissy. She's completely wrong, of course. In the entire span of time we've known each other as next-door neighbors, I don't think I've sought her out once. In fact, up until my mother passed away, I got the sense she didn't even like me. She stopped coming over to play when she entered junior high 2 years ahead of me. It wasn't hard to figure out she probably didn't want a little kid hanging around with her older friends. When Mom passed, though, she started showing up again. Mostly with food, but also sometimes just to make sure I was taking care of myself.
Hikaru-kun, can you please try to be a little more comfortable with me? We've known each other since we were practically in diapers. Actually, do you think I could walk home with you? I wouldn't mind some company.
I feel the skin under my collar go hot. I've always been in love with her, of course. With her looks and the fact she's already dating real men at her university, I have less than a snowball's chance in hell. I'm pretty sure I nod or something, because Mika continues smiling and falls into step beside me. The silence that falls between us is painfully awkward. I feel myself start to sweat a little as we pass by the park and a couple houses. There are still a good 2 or 3 blocks before we make it home and I have no idea how to entertain her. Offer to carry her bags. Those look heavy. I could carry them for you if you want.
Oh, sure.
She looks pleasantly surprised at my offer. I feel an unfamiliar surge of self-confidence. I reach out and take hold of the groceries. Don't drop them. They're a little heavier than I anticipated, but I force my muscles to relax and not look like I'm straining too hard to carry them. I ask the question before I really think about it. What'd you get?
You're being unusually assertive today.
She looks quietly amused for a minute, like she's laughing at some inner joke before casually moving on.
I bought some extra things to make your favorite, beef stew.
My favorite? Mika rolls her eyes.
Yes, your favorite. It's been a while since I cooked for you last, hasn't it?
A warm feeling rises in my chest and I look down at her. Cooking for a guy as a girlfriend kind of thing, isn't it?
And let's face it, you could use the extra calories. When was the last time you ate something that didn't come out of a styrofoam cup?
The warm feeling drops back down to my stomach where it belongs. Snowball's chance in hell, remember? We reach the apartments and head up to the 3rd floor where we live. I start puffing by the 2nd landing, but if she notices, she's kind enough to pretend not to.
Thanks for your help, Hikaru-kun. I'll come over later when the food's ready, okay?
She takes the bags from me and her fingers accidentally brush against mine. I pop a massive erection. The innocent contact sends a shiver through me, and by the time she smiles sweetly in thanks, I'm ready to flee back to the lonely, quiet lair I call home. I unlock and enter the apartment, placing my shoes on the rack by the door. Home sweet home. My voice sounds small and depressed. It's a nice apartment though. Time to log some hours into Celestial Crossing before anything else happens to remind me how pathetic I am. Hours later, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Mika's beef stew is a distant memory now, and the empty dishes are stacked on top of the incomplete homework assignment I should really get started on. I glance at the clock and realize it's already midnight. Crap, I'm gonna fall asleep in class again. It's hard to feel upset about it while staring at Nerith's character screen, where the word Max stares back at me in big green letters over the player level. Happy I've achieved my goals for the day, I save and log off. Going to sleep at midnight before school isn't really that bad. I mean, that sounds like pretty reasonable to me. I realize belatedly I'm still wearing my uniform when I topple on top of the covers to get some shut-eye. Screw it. Agano-sensei will overlook a wrinkled uniform if she can get me to stay awake the whole day for once. With that final thought in mind, I feel myself drift peacefully into slumber. My dreams decide to pick up right where they left off.
You'd better be okay now, useless.
Whoa, her eyes are kinda glowing. Instead of reacting to the new nickname, I'm pretty sure I've earned it by this point, I place a hand on the fully healed wound above my stomach.
That was my last healing spell, so if we get mortally injured by the Lich, we're shit out of luck.
She delivers a quick, perfunctory smack to my shoulder and sneers.
Don't make me regret it.
She shoulders her weapon and leads the way towards a set of stairs that spirals down to the lower level of the keep. I follow, wondering why the layout of the corridor feels so hauntingly familiar. Because it's the dwarf place in Lord of the Rings? Where the Balrog is? I think. Looks very, very familiar. It hits me that I'm dreaming. I'm lucid, but this is definitely a dream. As we continue to trek downward, the details come to me slowly as if I were dragging a waterlogged boat up from the bottom of a lake. We enter a short, dark corridor that ends in a portal of swirling purple energy. Nerith approaches it fearlessly, even as the final piece snaps into place within my memory. Game. I'm in the game. This is the final level of the Lich Lord's Keep, right before the boss, which means we're about to walk through the portal. Right into a veritable minefield of magical traps. Nerith is almost within reach, and she gives me a strange look as the two of us pass through the portal. There's no turning back now, and if either of us takes another step, we're gonna end up as a smear of charcoal on the floor. Call out a warning, I guess? Wait, Nerith, I know! Horrified at my sudden outburst, Nerith lunges at me, slapping her hand painfully across my mouth. Her voice is somewhere between a shout and a whisper when she hisses in my ear.
Are you mentally challenged? You're going to get us both killed, you stupid piece of...
A dark, disembodied voice begins chanting from the opposite end of the corridor. Clearly, even without setting off the traps, we've been noticed.
Shit!
She has time to shoot me a look of pure murder before we're both engulfed with dark magic. Is it a Balrog? Is it the Balrog of Morgoth? Flames spurt down the halls, shooting towards us. Death seems absolutely certain. I wake up, gasping like a fish out of water. I can still taste smoke in my mouth, feel magic tendrils crawling along my skin, and I feel the unmistakable prick of a sharp metal edge against my throat.
What have you done?
Attached to the blade is a shaky purplish grey arm. Attached to that arm is one seriously pissed off elven warlock. I want to shake my head in disbelief, but even my shocked mind realizes I don't want to accidentally decapitate myself. Impossible, my mind screams. I'm still dreaming. I have to be. But I don't flatter myself my imagination could come up with these kinds of details. The way her badly singed clothes are hanging from her body in tatters, barely concealing the important bits, and still smoking from the fires in the dream. The way her eyes dart around the room like a cornered animal. I'm about to ask her how she, a character I created for a fictional video game, came to be standing in my bedroom when she suddenly speaks, beating me to the punch.
Send me back right now, or I swear I will gut you where you stand.
Her throat echoes throughout the silence of the apartment. Her threat, sorry. A slightly hysterical laugh bubbles up, but I manage to quash it before I can piss off the elf any further. I realize I need to defuse the situation, preferably before something messy happens, and open my mouth to speak. Well, I'm not really standing, so... My voice comes out in a weak, whimpery tone. That'd be embarrassing if I wasn't completely scared shitless.
Oh, my mistake. Maybe I'll just disembowel you and wear your innards as a necklace instead.
I think, the only criticism I can come up with is, the audio for her voice is slightly low quality, but that's it. It's a really fantastic game so far. I feel my skin go cold at the deadly promise in her eyes. She applies pressure to the blade at my throat, but not enough to actually break the skin. Yet. In fact, I can definitely say this is the best game I've played this year. So I'm recording this on the 2nd, and it's 2017, and I haven't played anything else yet. I choose my next words carefully, since I know there's a good likelihood they could be my last. I'm really loving the amount of choices in this game as well, by the way. Try to explain it calmly, I think. Okay, I know you have no reason to believe me since my life is on the line, but I swear I have no idea how you got here. Nerith's eyes narrow into angry slits, and she makes a noise at me that could only be described as a hiss. I was asleep, and in my dream we were in the Lich Lord's keep. We set up a trap, and now you're here somehow.
A dream? You expect me to believe that?
Her arm tenses, and I half expect her to lop my head off just out of spite. Consequences and lack of answers be damned.
You think I can't recognize evil magic when I see it?
Well, look around. Does any of this stuff look familiar to you? If I had something against you, wouldn't I kill you outright? If I was trying to trap you here, why would I place myself within swinging range of your sword? Nerith continues to glare, but the tip of her weapon wavers against my skin. Thank Kami, logic is winning. From what I can guess, you've somehow crossed over from your game into my world? Her sword arm drops completely at my words. She frowns in consternation, but the wind seems to have gone out of her sails. Feeling a little safer, I finally stop fighting my gaze from straying downwards. And in my world, women usually wear more clothes. This non sequitur is apparently just a push too far. She kills me. The end.
Fucking shit!
Oh god, poor Nerith. With a wild swing, Nerith demolishes the wooden headboard of my bed, taking off a good-sized chunk of mattress with it. Before I can so much as squeak, she takes out the chair in front of my desk next, roasting it to a cinder with her magic, which I'm alarmed to note works just fine in the real world. Scared I might get caught in an unlucky backswing, either by design or accident, I forced myself to speak once more. I'll send you back as soon as I can figure out, I swear. This finally gets her attention. Either that or she's worked through her anger enough to hear reason again. She looks up and clenches her jaw. Beneath her bluster, I can see she's uneasy. I wouldn't go so far as to call her scared, but she definitely looks uncertain. We'll figure this out, okay? If you're able to come here, there should be a way to go back too, right? I wait until she nods once, gruffly. Good. In the meantime, you can stay here with me. She gives me a hard, condescending look that makes it clear this was never in question. In one smooth movement, she sheathes her weapon and takes a seat on the partially destroyed bed next to me.
Fine. I believe you.
She crosses her arms huffily, looking extremely put out. The action draws my attention down to her chest, unfortunately, and I look away with a blush. Good, so I'll just find you some clothes to wear and...
Don't be an idiot. Where can I get some replacement armor?
Huh? Well, there's no armor here. I mean, people don't wear armor in this world unless it's cosplay or something. LARP, maybe. And even then, it's cheap, flimsy material that's only meant to to look good. What are you doing? Nera strides confidently to the sliding glass door that leads to my apartment's balcony before I even finish speaking. She steps out and leans over the rail, looking at the ground below.
Where do those lead?
She points at the other balconies lining the side of the apartment building. I blink in confusion. What's she planning exactly? Can it wait until morning? Those glass doors lead into other people's apartments? They're homes like this one. She nods curtly, seeming to come to a decision. This is all the warning I get before she launches herself over the side of the railing onto one of the balconies adjacent to mine. I feel my jaw drop in horror as she casually slides the door open and lets herself into the stranger's apartment. Please let him be asleep. Please, Kami-sama, I'm begging you. Just do me this one small favor. Minutes tick by like hours and I stand, frozen like an idiot, willing her elfy head to appear out of the darkness. I realize I'm sweating. Actually physically sweating from anxiety. Right when I'm about to call the cops, certain she's murdered everyone in their beds, a dark female form shoots out of the neighbor's doorway and leaps up to my balcony. Without even looking at me, Nerith pushes into the house and drops her loot on the floor of the bedroom, where I finally get a good look at it. I feel a tension headache creeping into the back of my skull as I recognize some questionable leather that appears to be from an expensive couch. Beside it are some metal rungs found on most shower curtains, some heavy brocade drapes, and a whole assortment of metal odds and ends that she likely took from furniture and light fixtures.
Not a bad haul, huh? Now where do you keep your leatherworking equipment?
I feel numb. Curiously, wonderfully numb. When my voice finally comes out, it sounds dead even to my own ears. You can't wear this stuff, Nerith. She glares at me, crossing her arms and puffing herself up threateningly.
And why the hell not?
I tried to tell you people don't wear things like that here. You'd stand out even more than you already do. At the very least, the owner of those items will probably recognize them and I'll be the one who gets in trouble. Her response is to throw her arms up in the air and make a disgusted sound.
Ugh, of all the gutless, cowardly... Fine. It's your job to get me whatever passes for proper clothing around here then.
A little surprised, but grateful she caved so easily, I quickly stamp some feeling back at my feet and turn toward my dresser. I grab my largest, baggiest t-shirt and toss it to her. You can sleep in that for tonight. Should be more comfortable than those ripped up leathers. Nerith rolls her eyes but obligingly shrugs into the garment. I try to keep my gaze on the ceiling and ignore the fact that an elf is wearing my clothes and not much else. Well, good night then, I guess. She grunts in reply. By unspoken agreement, Nerith retires to my bed like a queen, and I lay myself down on the living room sofa wearily. I fall asleep before my head even hits the cushion, thanking whatever gods are listening that this weirdness happened on a weekend. I don't wake up again until noon the next day. Wait, wasn't he complaining that he was staying up till midnight on a school day and he was going to be sleeping through school the next day? Okay, well, that is a pretty good place to leave this video, I think. I am very, very impressed by this game. Higher quality than I was expecting, to be honest. There's been quite a lot of subpar visual novels coming out in like the last half of 2016. But first visual novel of 2017, really good one. I don't know how long it is. I would guess 2 to 3 hours. But I would also guess there'll be multiple endings. Because we've got like 3 girls been introduced so far. One of them is the teacher, so who knows. Really, really high quality. Very impressed. That was a quick look at Celestial Crossing. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys later. Bye. If he breaks my water station, I'm going to be so sad. Can I like hit him with this hammer? Fuck. No! My water purifier!